Shalom, this is Nazama Shalhamada Bar Yasharal on my channel Nazama the Hebrew Mystic Healer. As always, before we get started with the video, I would like to show some love to my 3D Ken, the Hebrew Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel scattered to the four corners of this third dimensional earth plane of existence. Much love and shalom to you. I would also like to show some love to my cosmic Ken, the primordial Nibiru Anunnaki star seeds, scattered to the 12 dimensions of this universal cosmic egg matrix. Much love and shalom to you as well. And as always, show some love and support to my viewers, especially those of you who are subscribed. If you're not yet subscribed, please do so now, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Also, if you like this video, let me know by giving it a like. It does help. So in this video, I am going to be talking about Mother Hekate, which in my previous video dealing with the Primordial Mother, I was dealing with the Akkadian, Babylonian, Sumerian epithet of the Primordial Mother known as Mother Tiamat. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Anatolian and Greek epithet of Mother Hekate, which is that version of the Primordial Mother. Now, before then, she actually began in Sumer as Ereshkigal. But most people choose to deal with her in her name and her epithet form as Hecate because there are more texts, more stories, and more information about this particular epithet. But it essentially is the same expression, just under a different name through the eyes of a different culture. So, who is Mother Hekate? Mother Hekate is the keeper of the keys. She literally has the keys to different aspects, different realms, different worlds, especially when dealing with the heavens, the earth, and the underworld. So even within the Greek text, she is described as having power or territory over the sky, the earth, and the underworld, and in some cases the ocean as well. Now this is really representative in the eternal as the upper, the middle, and the lower self, and the upper, the middle, and the lower shamanic realms. So the underworld realms, or the lower realms, or lower self, deals with like the core raw emotions. And it deals with, in many cases, our unconscious mind. Well, actually, in all cases, our unconscious mind, but in many cases, what we repress into the shadow. Now, the middle world, or the middle self, in which, by the way, the underworld self is more so associated with the earth star chakra and the root chakra, and in some cases, like the sacral chakra as well. The middle self deals more with like the center, so like the heart and the solar plexus chakra, and then the higher self deals more with the crown chakra and the soul star chakra and beyond. But within the middle self, this is dealing with the 3D earth realm of action, or how we conduct ourselves in the physical world. The upper world deals more with the thoughts and the higher self, or the higher celestial and angelic and divine expression. So just to be clear about that. So she has the keys to all of these realms. So she is known, one of her titles is a keeper of keys. Because she is known primarily as an underworld goddess, even though she's much more than that, she is also known as Queen of the Underworld. And she is also known as Queen of Witches, because she really is the basis for the witch archetype, or the archetype of the powerful wise woman. She also, in some belief systems, can be thought of as the world soul, or the animus, and the anima. Also, she is also thought of as triune, going back to the different versions of self and different versions of shamanic realms. But more recently, specifically dealing with the maiden, the mother, and the crone aspect of the divine feminine, so those different phases. Also going back to her being a goddess of crossroads, she's also a goddess of crossroads. And there are usually 3 crossroads, so going back to the whole triune aspect. Also the lunar cycles as well. And the lunar cycles deal with the realm of the emotions, and they deal with the unconscious mind, going back to what I was saying about the Underworld association. And when you deal with her, it's best to deal with her primarily during the dark moon at night, during the first crescent at night, or during the full moon. Also during fall or winter is like a prime time for her as well. So her colors are black, white, red, and silver, and also purple. Her stones are obsidian and red jasper primarily. If you want to deal with her and give her offerings, she's told me personally that she loves honey. She loves sweet cakes and sweet breads and chocolate. And she also told me she loves garlic, eggs, and raw swordfish. Fish in general, but specifically swordfish. Other people have said that she also loves other things, but in general with her, she is a fan of honey and sweet cakes and sweet things, so you can't go wrong with that. She also likes sweet wine and sweet alcohol as well. And she loves lavender incense and also bay leaf incense. She loves those as well. So those incense are really good in working with her or doing any kind of energy work or practice with her. Also, she absolutely loves children and she loves dogs. She told me this. And she chooses to communicate often with dogs. Like, you may hear dogs barking, especially if you can't find any real reason for them, and all of a sudden a bunch of dogs start barking and there's no ambulance, siren, or anything like that going on. It might be that Hecate is near. Usually if she's communicating through your unconscious and you're not like dealing with her directly and you're sleeping or in a meditative state, she will often use dogs, snakes, and dragons to communicate. Those are her 3 main animals. Sometimes owls and crows and ravens, but those are associated more strongly with other epithets of the divine. But also that can happen as well. And what's interesting about the animal association is when I talked to her directly, she told me that she really prefers that when an offering is done, when she's done consuming the energy of an offering, that it is given either to animals, to homeless people, to children, or that you eat it yourself. She really does not like wasting food. And she is very much a protector of women, a protector of children, and a protector of animals in that sense. A protector of the dead, a guide through the underworld, a guide through all realms. She is also seen as the light bearer. She's the way and she's the path. And she's very good at helping us when we're at crossroads within our life, but really any time. As far as other things that she really likes, if you want to offer things to her and you don't want to eat the offerings, if you're not comfortable with that afterward. And again, when you're offering something to her, give it all to her. Like, it would be like a whole bottle of wine or a whole cake or a whole fish, for example. But when you're done, she doesn't want it to be thrown out. So if you're not comfortable with eating any of that, like let's say like in my case, I don't eat fish, especially not swordfish. So like in my case, if I were to offer her something like that, and I prefer to offer her honey and cakes, but if she asked for something like that, I would take it to a crossroads nearby, discreetly of course, and leave it there. And that way animals and nature can also benefit from the offering. She really loves that. So that's another way to work with her as well. The best way to call on her, first of all, you want to develop a relationship with her. She's not a one-stop goddess. She's not a hit it and quit it goddess, okay? This particular epithet of the Divine Mother really likes to develop relationships with people and work with them long term, especially when it comes to shadow work and character development, and helping you to tap into your inner power and your sovereignty. So it's not about worship, it's not like that. It's about a relationship, and she actually helps you develop these things within yourself, because really she exists within us and without us. So this is not a religion where she's sitting up on the clouds and she's in this totally different place and we're separate from her and we're worshiping and falling on our knees. It's not like that. Like, she exists within us as we exist within her. And so she exists within us as she exists without us, as we all exist within, encapsulate within the Primordial Father and Primordial Mother. But I digress. So she really wants to develop a relationship. So don't come to her, like, don't treat her like some spirit that you're summoning or commanding. You know, she's not a servitor, she's not a golem, you know, she's a goddess. She's an epithet of the Primordial Mother. So definitely don't treat her like you're just calling on her for some kind of favor, especially petty stuff. So if that's really what you're looking for, you're better off dealing with some other, you know, beings or energy currents that may want to help you in that regard. If you're unsure about whether or not you want to work with her and you just want to get to know her and let things go organically, be honest. That's what I did. I mean, I was very hesitant to work with her at first because I was concerned with the concept of idolatry and the concept of perhaps offending my ancestors or offending my ancestral most high powers, you know, my council, things like that, and trying to figure out how it would fit within, you know, the Hebraic cultural paradigm. But once I was able to understand that all of these archetypes really exist within us, not that I didn't already understand archetypes, but really understand how all these archetypes already exist within us and without of us, and when we tap into these currents, we can actually utilize them to help us grow, and we develop relationships with these aspects of the Primordial Father and Primordial Mother. We really grow these within ourselves. And so really it's this holistic, all-encompassing path. And so when we respect and love and honor Hecate, for example, we're respecting and loving and honoring that archetype that exists within ourselves and that aspect of ourselves. We're respecting our own power, our own sage wisdom, our own ability to navigate the darkest parts of ourselves and our path, right? So I digress. Anyway, this is basically in a nutshell how you can work with her. You can definitely do prayers and chants that are focused on her, and you can create a sigil dealing with her. She is very much associated with the number 3, so 3 candles is good. In fact, her frequency is 313, 333, 369, and so on and so forth. Anything dealing with 3 because of her triune nature. So you can work with her that way. You know, you can do like just simply hail her, you know. Give her an offering of something simple. It can be an offering of honey or lavender incense or a cupcake or anything like that, you know. Show her that you're respecting her, you're wanting to connect with her, you know. Work with her colors, work with her sigils, work with, you know, the herbs and stuff associated with her to help you tune into that current and meet her, you know, reach out to her and see what happens. She's been great with me, and for me, she's revealed herself in various different aspects and forms and epithets. Sometimes she shows herself just within very specific epithetic expressions within herself, like, for example, as the Underworld goddess, or as the Keeper of the Keys, or as the Queen of Witches. Like, she may show herself in very specific archetypes, or she might show herself wholly. But either way, she usually shows herself to me as the crone, but that is probably more indicative of me and my journey and what I'm working on specifically. And she's been very understanding with me. She has really basically shown me just how long she's really been in my life since I was a kid, even though I didn't know or understand it. and that she's really been waiting for me for a really long time to work with her. In fact, the first time that I connected with Hecate, it was years and years ago when I was in my early 20s, and I considered myself to be newly Wiccan. I had gotten out of Christianity, and I was really drawn to Wicca initially. And I worked on my first spell, and it was intuitive, and I hadn't done a lot of research or anything. I was just using what was at my disposal. And then I had this one book that had all of like the different quote unquote Wiccan gods and goddesses you could work with. And as soon as I ran across Hecate, I was just instantly drawn to her. And they didn't have much information there. It was mostly just how to basically call to her. And that was about it. So I didn't understand that it was necessary to try to develop a relationship, to give an offering, to show gratitude. I basically like just tapped into that energy, and then that was it. And I didn't work with her after that. So years and years later, I actually had her show up to me, like within my third eye. I just saw her and I knew it was her. And she showed up, and I think it was when I was working through some of my quiblothic chakra points. Now, I wasn't dealing with any particular epithets or archetypes, but I was working through my quiblothic chakra points. And so it made sense that she would come up because, I was doing a lot of shadow work and things like that. And I know that she is one of my shadow archetypes also internally, from an internal perspective. And so I saw her image, and it was like, I didn't see her as how she's commonly depicted with 3 heads, but I did see like shifting triune overlays over her face, going from maiden to mother to crone. She was in like a dark cloak, and she was holding a cake out, and she was smiling, and I automatically knew like what she was saying. Like, I knew she wanted me to give her an offering, and I knew she wanted to work with me. And although I wasn't ready at the time to really work with her, I still was like, you know what? I never gave her an offering years ago, and if she's coming up now, it's for a reason. So I'm going to show respect, and I'm going to give her an offering with her sigil and leave it at Crossroads, and just let her know that I'm not wanting to work with her at this point in time, but that I wanted to show her that respect. And so I did that. And so I made a honey and lemon and lavender bread or cake, and I shaped it into a crescent moon and a star. I used her sigil, and I left it at a Crossroads, and I turned around and walked away. So then several months after that, she came to me again. I was doing a meditation, and she showed up, and this time she was made of lightning. It was really cool, actually. And even though she didn't look like how she was commonly depicted, I recognized her energy signature right away. And after that, I was like, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm not going to have any expectations. I'm just going to get to know this particular epithet of the mother and see what happens. So I went ahead, I created a sigil for her. I used 3 red candles. I reached out to her at night. I turned all the lights off. I burned lavender incense, gave her some honey, and I played some of the music that I'm actually playing in the background of this video, and I started calling out to her. And the energy immediately shifted in the room. I felt and saw her in the third eye show up. She sat right across from me, and she was like, hello, dear, and we started talking. And she, again, 3 shifting faces, although she would primarily, as I already mentioned, stay more in her crone form. And we were just sitting there talking, and she was eating the energy of the honey. I could see her doing it, and it was almost like just sitting there having a Hecate supper with her, even though I wasn't eating anything. And we were talking, and I was asking her some questions, and she was letting me know she did want to work with me. She was telling me some of her preferences and what she would like to do and how she would like to work with me on my path and helping me with my path specifically. And she was also telling me the different, ways that I could basically contact her and work with her and stuff like that. How she wanted the offerings done, how she wanted the offerings disposed of, some of the things that, you know, we could do together in the future. And I was honest with her. I let her know, look, I don't know how much I want to get involved. I just know that I want to try to get to know you, but I don't want to make any commitments. But I'm not saying that I want to just pop in and have you do something for me and then pop out again. And so she was totally fine with it. And so I started working with her in some of my practices and my shadow work, and had a really amazing experience of her taking me to, you know, the upper, the middle, and the lower realms, her giving me a key, and then her basically, in a way, like, she gave me like affirmations to use. It was almost like an initiation, where she put this protective sigil over my third eye and told me I was under her protection, and it was really powerful. I may share more of that experience with you guys in another video, but in this one I just wanted to talk more about the basics of her, a little bit about her, and a little bit of my experiences with her. But right now she's helping me with my path and helping me do my shadow work, and she's been amazing. She's definitely nurturing, but she's also like very direct, and she is no nonsense. Like, if she will lend her power, she will lend her protection, she will lend her comfort and advice, and as a guide and as a way shower, but you have to put in the work. So she definitely wants you to meet her halfway. She's been absolutely amazing. So I just wanted to share a little bit about that with you guys, and I'll probably do a video in the future on it as well. As I already shared one with Mother Tiamat, but that, I felt like Mother Tiamat wanted me to say what was on her heart and mind. But for this video, I felt more about sharing more about how to work with Mother Hekate and my personal experience with her a little more in depth with that. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a like. I am going to talk more in depth about archetypes and epithets coming up in near videos. In case people are confused by that concept or that idea of there being one source made up of feminine, masculine currents, which have several different expressions, but that's what we are, right guys? We're expressions of that too. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As I said, if you did, give it a like. As I'm always letting you guys know, I'm an Akashic record reader, and if you are interested in an Akashic record reading and you want to know more about your past lives and what kind of seed you are, karmic resolution, various incarnations, definitely reach out to me. I have my link to my business page, facebook.com/thehebrew-mystic-healer, down in the drop down menu. Or if you're interested in joining Patreon, where I actually teach how to access this type of stuff within yourself, you know, access your own archetypes, do shadow work, do shamanic journeying, activate your light Merkaba, activate your major and minor chakras, you know, meet your higher self, meet your soul family, talk to your ancestors, your guides, your totems, uncovering past life memories, retrieving soul fragments, and much, much more. So if you're interested, definitely sign up for that and reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks again. I really appreciate it, guys, and stay tuned for future videos.